For nearly 2 decades, Meg Ryan wasn't just a Hollywood star. She was the symbol of romance in American cinema. When audiences thought of love stories, they thought of her smile. Her warm, witty, effortlessly charming presence made her the face of an entire generation of romantic comedies. Movies like When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, and You've Got Mail didn't just succeed, they defined an era. And at the heart of every one of them was Meg, glowing with a kind of natural authenticity that felt impossible to fake. But behind that success was a pressure most people never saw. Hollywood didn't just embrace Meg Ryan, it placed her on an impossibly high pedestal. She became America's sweetheart, a title that sounded flattering but came with invisible chains. The industry expected her to stay forever young, forever charming, forever perfect. And Meg knew it. Every role she accepted, every photo shoot, every red carpet appearance reminded her that people didn't just love her, they expected her to stay frozen in time. By the late 90s, Meg sensed the shift. New faces were rising, younger actresses were entering the scene, and Hollywood's obsession with youth became more unforgiving than ever. Suddenly, roles she would have been offered instantly were quietly going to younger stars. And Meg, who had once been the center of a Hollywood whirlwind, started feeling the ground move beneath her feet. Yet, it wasn't just career competition. The tabloids began circling, examining every part of her personal life. Her marriage, her family, her relationships, everything became public property. And as the scrutiny intensified, Meg's world began shrinking. She found herself in a paradox. She was adored by millions, yet increasingly isolated. Then came the early 2000s, the period that changed everything. Hollywood had always demanded perfection, but now the public did too. Social media was growing, the internet was exploding, and suddenly every angle of her face, in every random photo, became a topic for debate. Her appearance, once harmlessly adored, became the center of endless speculation. Each wrinkle, each shadow, each expression was interpreted as a sign of decline. Meg didn't say much during this time. She didn't fight back. She didn't explain herself. But inside, she felt the crushing weight of a world that refused to let her grow older, change, or evolve. The woman who once made audiences believe in love now struggled with her own sense of identity, trapped between who she truly was and who everyone else wanted her to remain. And as she took her first small steps away from Hollywood, few understood the truth. Meg Ryan wasn't disappearing. She was beginning a transformation no one saw coming. As the spotlight dimmed, the scrutiny on Meg Ryan only intensified. What should have been a natural transition into her 40s became a battlefield, one she never asked to fight in. Hollywood had always been unforgiving, but now the world had joined in. Every public appearance sparked a storm of commentary. Every photograph was dissected, every expression magnified into headlines that questioned her choices, her happiness, and eventually, her face. Meg, who had once been celebrated for her expressive features, the very features that made millions fall in love, found herself criticized for the same reason. When she appeared at the 2015 Paris Fashion Week event, the internet erupted. People didn't ask how she was doing. They didn't care about her work. The conversation was reduced to a single cruel question. What happened to Meg Ryan? For the first time in her career, Meg remained completely silent. She didn't defend herself. She didn't call out the tabloids. She didn't explain what was happening in her life. Instead, she withdrew, quietly, almost invisibly, into a life she hoped would offer her peace. But the silence only fueled speculation. Critics accused her of chasing perfection. Others blamed Hollywood for pressuring women to remain eternally young. Some said she was unrecognizable, as if her value had evaporated the moment she aged. Few recognized the truth. Meg was dealing with heartbreak long before the world noticed her transformation. Her marriage to Dennis Quaid had ended in a very public collapse. The tabloids painted her as the villain, the unfaithful wife, the Hollywood star who had ruined her own family. Meg carried that burden for years, choosing not to correct the false narratives that followed her. When she finally revealed that the marriage had been struggling long before the breakup, and that she had silently endured more than the public ever knew, the world realized how much pain she had been hiding. Then came the professional blows. Scripts stopped arriving. Studio heads openly questioned her marketability. Directors told her she didn't fit anymore. Hollywood's beloved romantic heroine had become a victim of the same machine that once worshipped her. And through it all, Meg remained quiet, dignified, and heartbreakingly human. She stepped back not because she was defeated, but because she was exhausted, tired of proving her worth, tired of defending her face, tired of fighting a battle she never wanted. But what the world didn't know was that Meg Ryan wasn't finished. She was simply standing at her breaking point, the moment right before everything would change again. Today, Meg Ryan lives far from the noise that once tried to define her. She no longer chases the spotlight or the adoration of an industry that turned on her the moment she no longer fit its ideal of perfection. Instead, she chooses peace, privacy, and the kind of quiet confidence that only comes from surviving years of judgment and still standing tall. In recent interviews, Meg has spoken openly, yet gently, about the truth behind her transformation. She never claimed to be flawless, nor did she deny making choices about her appearance. But she made one thing clear: she owes no explanation for decisions made about her own face, her own body, her own life. What mattered was the journey, not the commentary. She now pours her energy into writing, directing, motherhood, and friendships that nourish her. She laughs more, apologizes less, and has slowly become a symbol of something deeper, a woman reclaiming her identity in a world that tried to rewrite it. Her transformation is no longer about appearance, it's about ownership, about healing, about stepping out from a story others created and finally choosing to tell her own. Meg Ryan's journey reminds us that reinvention is not shameful, it's powerful. If her story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more revealing Hollywood documentaries.